Governorship candidate of the Social Democratic Party in Kogi State, Murtala Ajaka, has rejected the ruling of the Court of Appeal now affirming the election of Usman Ododo as a governor, and says he's urging and forging ahead to the Supreme Court. He urged the supporters to be calm about his loss at the Court of Appeal. Joining us live now is spokesperson of the Social Democratic Party in Kogi State, Isaiah Ijele. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you, Bosse, for having me.
Well, your party's candidate lost at the tribunal, lost at the Court of Appeal, and he now says he's heading to the Supreme Court. What is the guarantee that he would win there?
Okay, thank you, Bosse, for that question. And first of all, I want to let you know that we have confidence in the Supreme Court. We are confident of what we have presented by our legal team. We are confident of all that have been, shown to the court for the first time, that Beavers was ventilated in an open court, where each accreditations of the polling unit where we are contending was, taken by the judges. And even the motion that brought in about the PW1, the INEC representative that came to display the Beavers in court, was contended with, by Ododo lawyers and the APC lawyers. And it was overruled by the tribunal judges themselves, headed by Justice Brini Kudu, in favor of SDP, that the PW1 is a representative of INEC, and they don't expect the SDP and its candidate to do the impossible by front-loading somebody that they know. So PW1 is an agent of Electoral Commission. Now, the same Electoral Commission that sent this person gave him an access code to all the Beavers. During the cross-examination, he said there are two procedures to access the Beavers, which is the one code and the facial recognition. And he demonstrated both procedures in the court and opened each polling unit by polling unit. But said, let me tell you this. This same case went down to appeal court and to Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court ruled in the favor of SDP and Murtala Ajaka that the tribunal judges acted according in the confines of the law, and that it is a self-inflicted injury on the side of the APC and its candidate Usman Ododo. Now, the same Court of Appeal turned around to say it is a mistake. I wouldn't have even ordered in the first place. It is impossible, because you cannot front-load the person you don't know. If I kept saying this, a CCTV that have a record, a real time of criminal that entered your house, cannot be compared to a passerby or your neighbors. So that is the problem. So now,
Mr. Ijele, I hear you. I hear you, but do you realize this is just one leg, one aspect of this whole litigation process that has been on? And now you say you want to head to the Supreme Court. So I'm really asking about what your confidence is and what your reaction would be if the Supreme Court does not rule in your favor.
You see, Bosse, we are talking about constitution here. We are talking about 2022 electoral bill that brought in about the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And we, the people of Kogi State, are urging him and begging President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that the legacy he said he will leave should be to start from Kogi State. Kogi State was a total bypass of the Beavers.
Are you insinuating that the president, Mr. Ijele, are you insinuating that the president should interfere in the affairs of the electoral umpire and in the judiciary?
The Chief Justice or the Attorney General said it 3 days ago, that justice is no longer for common men in Nigeria. That means there is something that is fundamentally wrong with the appeal court. And so far, the Supreme Court have upheld a lot of cases that are to the favor of the beavers. See, this is the first time that beavers was ventilated in the court. And we believe strongly that this country right now, see, if beavers is allowed not to function, if these shenanigans by professors that are leading INEC allowed to stand, trust me, Bossede, Sambisa Forest will produce 10 million votes in 2027. And they are going to produce 10 million from each local government and nothing will happen. In 2023, the hope of all Nigerian youth lies on the beavers. We came into the electioneering process because beavers we were told that beaver has come to stay by Professor Mahmood in Chatham House and in several of his meetings. And that was the confidence of the youth. And that is one of the principal reasons that many figures were not inflated against the current president in 2023.
So what are now your concerns? Because it does appear that you believe in the ability of the beavers to cause a positive change, which was the reason it was introduced into our electoral system. So what is your grouse now with this machine?
The issues, accreditation, this is the problem. A polling unit, accreditation is 100, then the total votes cast at the same polling unit is 1,000. Accreditation 100, the same polling unit 200. It cannot allow to stay. On IREF, it is the same thing. Now, this same thing happened in Osun State, and beavers was asked to be brought to court to ventilate. And the same beaver was brought to court and ventilated in our case. So, unfortunately, the same tribunal turned around. Now, assume they refused to turn around and uphold the same judgment that they gave in favor of the beavers. Trust me, we will be at the Lugard House. And we see, this is the another...
the judiciary, judges, Mr. Ijele, please, for a moment. The judiciary would always tell you that they are not Father Christmas. They would only adjudicate based on evidence presented before them. It therefore means that whoever is alleging needs to prove, because the burden of proof now lies on you to justify why you think that your candidate should actually be the winner. But then back to the question I asked you earlier. What would be the position of your party if the judgment of the Supreme Court does not go in your favor?
And I will ask you this. 2022 electoral bill has come to stay. The same Supreme Court gave the judgment in the favor of the SDP Amurtala Yakubu Ajaka that it is self-inflicted injury on the side of Ododo. They cannot back down on that judgment. What we are asking for is look into the beavers report. All we are asking for, get into the beavers, get into the accreditation. And once that is done, we'll be ahead with over 100,000 votes. You see, Kogi State, we suffered a lot to come this far. During the process of the electioneering process, I was a victim. I was almost assassinated. I escaped by divine, a God. By divine mercy.
Mr. Ijele,
we cannot, yes.
Yes, I was also going to just talk about the fact that I would like to know what the position of your candidate is, because obviously the governor has, extended the olive branch and he wants everyone to work with him to take Kogi State, to higher heights. But then I would really have just wanted to know what your candidate would do. Are you willing to work with this government to move the state forward in just about 15 seconds?
Bosse, I will respond to this your question. When someone, able to forge document of your house, send you off the house, send you pack of your own house, and then tomorrow come begging you and say, come and be my gate man or come and occupy my boys' quarter. Then we shall discuss, I will respond to this question. For now,
they have to leave the...
I have nothing to say about this.
All right, let's wait for what happens when you head to the Supreme Court, and we'll see what the conclusion is. But then we should, it's good to mention at this point that we will be reaching out to the APC and the governor of Kogi State for their reaction to some of the allegations that you, Mr. Ijele, have made here. Thank you so much for your time, spokesperson, Social Democratic Party, Kogi State. Yes, you want to land on that?
Okay, yes, please, boss, I want to say something again. You asked of the second ground, which is the forgery, the forged affidavit. We brought in the register of this High Court and testified to the fact that the affidavit was a forged affidavit.
Mr. I believe you are going to
that cannot be a pre-election.
To make your position at the Supreme
yes,
Court.
Of course, because
thank you so much for sharing your position with us.
The judges are not going to tell us that I can steal today and then tomorrow, because I'm not caught today, I'll go scot-free tomorrow. It's not possible.
Right then, I saw Ijele is
spokesperson and I know.
Democratic Party. We really need to end this conversation. Time is no longer our friend. Thanks a lot, Mr. Ijele.
Thank you for having me.